Hello, welcome back. We are now at FIDE Online Olympiad 2020 Division 4 last day. Today is going to be a long day and we are going to discover all the teams that will advance to next division. Yes. What do you think, Roland?
Yeah, exactly the same. I'm very excited to see who will continue on to the next division, like you said, and yeah, can't wait to get the game started, of course. We'll get them on shortly, but of course, like in every broadcast, we should remind everyone what you guys are actually looking at. So yeah, take it away, Alessio.
Yes, we are at the FIDE Online Olympiad. That is a huge event featuring 163 teams and over 500 players from all around the world. This is not an open tournament like it is the Olympian OTB, but teams are split into 5 divisions according to strength and are further divided into pools within those divisions based on time zones and strength. Let me shortly show you all the division like this. We understand where we are. Last weekend the base division took place. These are the 30 teams that fight in the base division, and 12 of them advanced to division 4. Currently here we are. The division 4 is there are 50 teams battling against each other, and 15 will advance to the division 3. We are going to cover that next weekend, and guess what, in 2 weekends also division 2 is going to take place, and also all this team here we see Italy, Netherlands, Switzerland, a lot of teams, European teams that we're going to face each other and try to advance to the top division, where already some big teams are there, as Russia, China, USA, Ukraine and India. And at the end of everything, the top team that will advance from top division to stage 2 will battle in a KO match in order to determine who will win the Olympiad. So this is a fancy format, and it's really a long event. As you can see from the schedule, the tournament is going just to end at August 30th, so a long way. Here we are today, and one last important features to mention is that each team features 6 boards, and of that 2 open boards, 2 women's board, 1 junior male board and 1 junior female board. So as Roland always likes to say, this is going not to show just the power of a country but also the potential in the future due to the junior boards. Yep. So are we ready?
I am absolutely ready. Yeah, the games. I'm really curious about the games, and actually also about one of the matches in this pool. I think we should show the pairings of the current round. So we are now at round 7 in Pool A of Division 4. And yeah, so 3 teams advanced to the next division. And yeah, as you could see in the standings, it was Thailand and Hong Kong that are in the clear lead, but there's a nice battle for place 3 in this round. So we've got Chinese Taipei and Kenya, currently the number 3 and 4 in this round. So this match is very important for those 2 countries to determine who will get the number 3 spot. So I'm very excited for that match. And yeah, do you dare to make any predictions, Alessia?
Well, I mean, It's very hard to make a prediction, but I know I checked the team and I know actually the first women board from Kenya. She also joined my stream one time, and so I'm a bit influenced, but also the friends from Chinese Taipei. I wish both of those teams a great match. We want to see yeah, some nice games. So that's it.
Of course, we are impartial, as they say,
Kind of.
as commentators. Yeah, yeah, I can be a little bit more impartial. Sometimes I like one team to, advance. And there, for example, there's the Netherlands Antilles participating, and I'm from the Netherlands, so I feel a little bit warmer. Yes, when I think of countries like that. I'm more or less joking, but yeah, yeah. We'll see, of course. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Of course, we wish everybody in this competition good luck. And yeah, may the best team win, of course.
Yeah.
And am I correct to see that some of the games have already started?
You're definitely correct. The game have started, and here we are at I guess the first part of the match, Kenya against Chinese Taipei, where the international master Raymond Song from Chinese Taipei is facing Mehul Goin from Kenya. What about their rating, Roland?
Yeah, so yeah, we stress this every time. The ratings that you actually see on the board are not the official FIDE ratings, those are the chess.com ratings. And yeah, it's not a good indicator of their strengths because some players have just opened a chess.com account or they did not play very often on that account. So yeah, that is why we always share the official ratings. So stick your ears out and listen carefully. The Kenya player, Mr. Mehul Gohil, has a rating of 2033, and Raymond Song from Chinese Taipei has a rating of 2254. So the white player from Chinese Taipei has a 221 rating advantage over his opponent from Kenya.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so white should be in the rating favorite here. But actually, the position looks completely fine for black. What is a difference is that white has the bishop pair here. But yeah, black is doing quite good now because all his pieces are into the game. Also, I like rook c8. The knight now could spread like knight e4, or just maybe put the other rook on d8. Yeah, black has really all the pieces are out. There is some harmony in this position.
Would you play a move like bishop d5, perhaps, to try and take the a2 pawn?
Bishop d5. Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if white now plays a move like queen h4, then you can take the pawn on a2. Was an interesting move to consider, I think, but black plays rook f d8, a very logical move as well, like you said.
Yes, and
Um,
what do you think? Why should it not be? Seems like black is winning a pawn here. There.
yeah, yeah, I thought so too. I mean, black is absolutely fine. I totally agree there. The bishop on g2 and the bishop on e3 currently are not doing too much in the black position. Black has a very solid position, no weaknesses at the moment, and yeah, the bishop on g2 is totally nullified by the bishop on b7. So yeah, black is absolutely doing fine. What's hard about positions like this is how exactly to continue. So it's very symmetrical. There are no dynamic pawn breaks anywhere. So you need to play this quite positionally somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, one thing I would always do if I were black is to keep the diagonal open between the two white-colored bishops. So I would not uh, play a move like knight c e4, even though it looks very nice. Yeah, because then the knight on f3 can move, and suddenly the bishop on g2 can start participating. So yeah, the hard position to play. Actually, what about a move like e5? Would that be a logical move here for black?
Yeah, could be a logical move here. Um, yeah, actually, yeah, why not? White could try to, black could try to have more space at the center. Also, the knight would be limited. The only disadvantage is that it gives away the f5 square. Um, so might be that the knight could reach that square.
Or bishop h3 is
Or
also a move to consider there.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what's hard about positions like this. It's hard to make progress. Maybe in hindsight, a move like h6 would have just been best. I'm really not a big fan of knight d5 here, and I'm also not a big fan of bishop g5. Yeah, okay, I need to explain that. I think that queen takes e7 instead of bishop g5 was the better option to just trade off the queens, and the endgame should definitely be better for white. For example, you could already take on c5, creating a slight pawn structure advantage for white. Knight e5 now, or at some other time perhaps, or just rook fd1 first to not allow a rook on d2. But the pawn structure is very comfortable for white, simply because white has a knight that can jump to c4 very quickly. So I was thinking this endgame should be a lot better for white. But yeah, instead white went for bishop g5, keeping the queens on the board. But now after f6, bishop d2, I suppose. Yeah, it's a complicated position. I don't know. It's hard to say how to continue once again with black. All the pieces are working, so what will be the next move here?
Yeah, it's very hard because, as you said, there is not a piece that you say, okay, let's improve this piece, no? The knight seems like to be perfectly placed at the center, so it looks a bit
a5.
hard.
Not a bad move, a5. Aimed against b4, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe just doubling the rooks would be a good idea. Like there are no weaknesses. Maybe just aiming for the d or c file would be a good idea at some point. But yeah, I think black is better, but it's hard for me to say how to continue this.
Yeah. Alright, so let's move to the second board because this seems very static, not a lot of changes going on. So let's move to board 2, and here we are. With the white pieces, we have Martin and Jorog. And with the black pieces, we have Ya Yang Liu.
Yes. So rating update with the white player from Kenya has a rating of 1781, while the black player from Chinese Taipei has a rating of 2004. So once again, a huge rating advantage for the player from Chinese Taipei. But the position, I would clearly pick white in this position.
Mm-hmm. Why would you pick white here?
Well, because of the bishop pair, first of all, the nice blockade on d4, and yeah, with the nice blockade on d4, the pawns on the queen side can start rolling at some point. And yeah, the bishop on g2 is once again out of play, but on the other hand, black's minor pieces are also struggling to get some good squares. For example, if the black knight was on c4, then you could argue that black has enough counterplay, but since that's not the case, the knight on f6 is still passive on f6. I think white just has a very simple plan with b5, a4, and creating a pass pawn there. And also, well, white should not forget to bring the rook on f1 in as well. It's
Yeah,
also
yeah,
very necessary.
maybe something like rook b1, rook c1. And let
Yep.
me ask you a question. Would be the same with the pawn on c3?
Then it's different because white then will struggle to create something on the queen side. You cannot create a pass pawn like that. So yeah, if the pawn was on c3, the evaluation would be different. I think the black would be more or less okay.
Mm-hmm.
Although,
So let's say the main point here is really the pawn structure, no? That makes a difference because this pawn structure give white a clear plan and
yeah,
also a doable plan.
yeah, a very easy plan. a6. a good move, preventing b5.
But
But
a4
okay,
can prepare it, so it seems like that white can create a pass pawn here on open side.
might take some time because after a4, black could play a move like bishop d7 to
Mm-hmm.
try and prevent the b5 pawn push as well.
So I guess some preparation like rook b1, rook c1, and then starting to advance the pawn there.
Yeah, but then black can also play bishop d7 again and maybe even put a bishop on a4 to prevent all of that from happening. So I think it's best to push a4 so that you have that out of the way. You're gonna push it eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, then rook a1, rook b1, and maybe also a good idea would be to put a bishop on f4 to try and get the bishop into play as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think, okay, white has a clear plan, but if black is going to fight against that plan, white could struggle to make some progress there. But in essence, I think that white should be clearly better, of course.
All
Yeah.
right. So, mm, do you want to add something?
Um, well, yeah, a4 looks like a good idea here. If you, well, another idea would be to put a bishop on d4. That is also quite annoying. So you could, for example, play rook a1 after a4, rook a1, and a bishop d7, rook a1, and then queen b2, bishop d4, and b5 to push it that way. Yeah, that sounds like a reasonable idea because the bishop looks very good on d4 as well.
Yeah, and it's also a bit, preventing the knight on f6 to go somewhere else,
Mm,
because always g7 might be a target. So,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like this setup because the bishop on d4 looks really powerful. So,
Yeah.
can be a great idea. Alright, but let's move to the women boards, and here we are. What about rating of white? Chingan Sihi.
Yeah, Chingan, she has a rating of 1680, the white player, and her opponent, Lucy Wanjiru, has a rating of 1349. So clearly, once again, Chinese Taipei is the favorite in this match with over 330 rating points. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. This is
so
the player that I know, Lucy. She's the Kenyan champion.
I was just gonna ask you.
Yeah.
So, but she's doing all right. Um, Yeah, I guess white would be slightly better because the queen on c3 is occupying the c file, which could become handy.
Mm-hmm.
But black is doing a good job with f6. I guess her idea is to play e6, bishop f8, bishop d6. And then, yeah, not much is going on. It should be about equal.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking how white could continue this. How could white continue some pressure? Maybe
I'm not
e
sure if she could bring the
e4.
knight to a better place.
Yeah, usually you play knight e1, knight d3, but even then I'm struggling to see how to continue. So maybe white is a little bit better, but on the other hand, I think that black should be more or less okay. Yeah. So yeah, if she can has if your friend can make a draw there, then she would be doing pretty well because of the rating difference.
Yeah, yeah, and with black, so that's good. So let's move to another board, the second female board. Might be a bit more action here.
Uh, maybe a little bit more. Oh my God, what's going on
Let
here?
me mention the opening again.
We've seen this opening so many times. The London. It's so
Yeah.
popular nowadays.
So what about the rating of women CM Joyce the Rango?
Yeah, let me give you guys an update. So we are the first rating advantage for Kenya. The white player Ndirangu from Kenya has a rating of 1621,
Mm.
while the black player from Chinese Taipei, Chi Chen, has a rating of 1353. So 269 quick math rating difference in favor of Kenya.
Yeah. And what about this position? It looks really complex. Uh,
Yeah.
well, black is a piece down, uh, but now not anymore.
It's I was thinking how white could stop the move queen d5, but yeah, black is doing absolutely great here. It's she's a pawn down, that's true, but the battery queen d5, bishop b7 is just too hard to deal with at the moment. And for example, a plan could be king h8, rook g8 to try and put some more pressure on the white position.
Yeah, maybe also 94, 95,
Yeah, also a good idea.
rook d8.
Yeah, just put your rooks in the game. It's looking pretty good for black. And actually, could we maybe go back a few moves? Because I'm wondering after g4 how white could have prevented everything. So yeah, in this position, what could be a way to deal with black's threats? Because after knight d4, queen d5 has happened in the game, white cannot stop the g2 threat there.
Not
So
sure
what
if something like knight h4, king f2 might have been the way to protect, to deal with.
h4 is unfortunately queen takes h4. Yeah, so maybe white should have just played.
Maybe just not taking the knight, because then you might take away the bishop and try to change the bishop on.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a good way to do that. Maybe just a move like knight c4 would be okay. With the idea
Yeah.
to put it on d6 or knight f1 perhaps. Maybe knight f1 is better so that you can put it on g3 as a protective piece. Yeah, something like that. I think white needs to make sure the maybe e4 actually. It's also a good idea. Yeah, this is still looking quite dangerous actually. Rook ad8 next move. So maybe e4 is the way to go. Yeah, to block the diagonal, but still.
Not
Wow,
so easy.
it's a really hard position to play. Yeah, so yeah,
What about king f2? There is a channel.
there are some ideas there. So after g takes f3, how to continue? Yeah, hard question. The engine is giving us the feeling that white should be more or less okay, but I have no. Yeah, it's hard for me to figure out how exactly why.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
why exactly how? How exactly why? All right, never mind. In any case, in the game, black is doing extremely well. So after queen d5, white had to give back the piece. King h8, very nice move. Rook g8, next move. Yeah, white is under a lot of pressure. So yeah, player from Chinese Taipei doing well in this position too.
Alright, let's move to the junior board. With the white pieces we have Tinga Wang, and with the black pieces we have Robert McLigeyo.
Okay, the rating difference is clearly in favor of the Chinese Taipei player with white. 1788 rating versus 1408 of the Kenyan player Robert McLigeyo. And white's a pawn up, if I'm not mistaken. In this
Yes,
position.
white is a pawn up here. And that's why, I mean, now there is the queen on b4 and on b5 that is blocking the pawn on b4 and c5 to advance. But still, that's an extra pawn, and a move like queen knight c3, and then starting to push. I mean, if white start to push those two pawns, it's going to be very hard for black.
I'm wondering how white can achieve that, though.
What about knight c3?
Yeah, and then queen c4. Because my problem here is that white needs to protect the d4 pawn as well at all times. And the knight on c3 is looking a bit unstable. Yeah, white played knight c1 instead. That's a kind of a mysterious move to me. Okay, I see what the idea
Queen
is.
d3 maybe.
Yeah, to exchange queens, queen d3 or queen e2. So yeah, and if the queens are traded, then the pawns can start rolling. So this is actually a pretty clever move by the Chinese Taipei player. So yeah, maybe we should take a look at the more direct idea that white also has with knight c3 instead, so that I can clarify what the problems maybe are with that. So if you play queen c4 and, for example, queen d2 to try and protect the knight and then play b5 on the next move, then you have rook a3 with black, and suddenly the knight is not really that stable anymore with c3. For example, if you protect it with rook c1, then the b4 pawn falls, and you could play a move like knight e2, I think, but then rook a2 is annoying. So yeah, there are some struggles here, as you can see. Probably white is doing still fine after rook b2, but yeah, I like actually the move of the player from Chinese Taipei better in the game. Knight c1,
Yes,
very
I also
straightforward.
prefer this game because it's a straight idea. Queen d3 and then try to push without avoiding that black is doing so many threats like on c4, rook a3. It seems like that also in the other line white is still doing good, but this is much easier to play for white.
Yeah, I like it. Practical value there, folks. Sometimes calculation is not the answer. Sometimes just logical reasoning like this. Simple plan, knight c1, queen d3 is the way to go. So yeah, nice move by Chinese Taipei. So I'm actually thinking that Chinese Taipei is doing very, very well in this match. Unfortunately for Kenya so far. But yeah, anything can happen still, of course. We'll keep checking the games, and we still have one game to go in this match, I
Yes,
believe.
and here we are with the junior female board, where yes, white is a women FM Krishisha
Yeah.
and black is Sophie Iswansai. What about their rating?
Yeah, clearly rating favorite is the player from Kenya. She also has a title in comparison to the Chinese Taipei player. Krishi Shah has a rating of 1600, while her opponent has a rating of 1155. And Krishi Shah is a WFM, a Women's FIDE Master. So she has achieved even higher rating than 1600 in her career. So yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
not sure because might be that she just won some continental
yeah.
and then got the title because it's very weird to yeah that you achieve already 2100 and then you suddenly are lower. So I think it's about the title was from some continental event, but
Yeah,
still, it's something.
could be
It's a
true.
sign of experience at least.
Could be. Yeah, you're right there. Continental titles. Yeah, titles could be given with continental victories. That's true. So, yeah, we'll never know. We'll have to ask her at some point. But yeah, how is the game? White is a lot of material up, it seems. No, it's just one pawn. But black has good initiative with the knight and the queen. And actually, after knight takes f5, the material is equal again. Yeah, I think black is doing very good, right?
Yes, I think this as well. Now there is also the threat of queen g3 and then knight e3 for black. So, so yeah, it seems black is doing good. Still, clearly the material is equal. For example, not sure if how big is the advantage after
Yeah.
yeah changing queens. That's why I like queen e4 check and attacking the b2 pawn. So suddenly why black could be one pawn up, and now the pawns on c2 a4 are both weak as well.
Yeah, so Chinese Taipei also doing great in this match, even though the opponent is clearly the favorite on rating at least. So yeah, that's a big upset and huge for the Chinese Taipei uh, team. So yeah, once again, this is a match for place three in the standings, and the top three teams go through to the next division. And so yeah, if Chinese Taipei manages to win this, then they are very well on their way to claim the third spot to go to the next division. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there you go. Queen takes b2 on the board, one pawn up for black.
Yes, I really like white white position here. Now, I mean, all the white pawns are very weak. Also, white gave away some important square like d4 and e3. Probably also move like, yeah, a6, knight d4. Also, maybe not even needed. Maybe rook e8 is also very good.
I like.
And
Yeah, get every piece in the game, and you have rook e3 ideas after that.
yeah,
A6, actually a logical move as well, but maybe now after knight c7, knight d5, the knight can more or less get more active,
that's true.
can participate more in the game. And now rook e8 is not an option anymore. So yeah, I think a6 might have been not the best. And after queen d4, I guess queen f2 would be okay. Yeah, black is pawn up, but it's still a long way to victory.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, let's come back to our first board here. What is happening here? It was quite, we had quite a, I would say, an equal position, but now the position changed drastically, I would say, because white has two pieces for a rook, and black has no compensation for that, has no pawn for that, so white should be doing better.
Yeah, I totally agree. So this is board one once again, and yeah, it's still a long way from victory, I think.
Oh,
But,
well.
well, actually, after bishop takes e6, it's more or less over, isn't it? Ah, wait, queen takes e6.
Queen take e6, yeah.
Yeah, so now I don't know. White's clearly doing better, but yeah, there are no clear weaknesses yet in the position. I guess b5 would be the way to make some progress, or transfer the knight on f3.
b5?
Where? Yeah, the pawn on b5 is one of the weaknesses in black's
Ah, okay. Okay, I thought that's a move. I was confused. No, okay, I understand now. And yeah, also too, yeah, these pieces are not doing so much now. Maybe the bishop could go to e3 and the knight to find a better square like c5, d5, and
Exactly.
yeah, those pieces needs to be a bit more
Could move
active.
bishop d2, for example. So you could play knight e1, knight d3, queen e3. I'm not too sure. Rook c8. I would have tried to exchange the rooks here. So yeah, I would have actually trading the rooks would be huge for black, but yeah, black chose not to. And now the rook on d5 is nicely aiming at a lot of things. So for example, if white plays queen d3, then rook d7 is an idea, and also rook takes b5. So okay. Yeah, now just queen d3. Oh, queen h6, that's a nice idea. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
this
now
is winning for white.
black is completely losing, yeah, because king goes back, then rook d8, and king f7, and queen takes h7. So, yeah, this is good, looking good for Chinese Taipei.
Yes, and we have a resignation, so Chinese Taipei actually might be back and fighting for the third place. Attention, please. And we have also other two results exactly in this moment. Here, white won. So in this time is good results for Kenya. Yes, white was doing good here. Yeah, because due to this pawn structure, so yeah, and white managed to get some concrete advantage. Was black forced to take the queen here? Okay.
Not really, but it makes sense.
Okay, rook take e6 and rook g4
Yeah.
is the threat.
Yes, that looks kind of devastating, yes. So you need to, okay, so taking on f6 is forced. Not a bad trade anyhow, and then I guess white started pushing the pawns. No, not yet. First, okay.
White trying to activate the queen against the king, which
Okay.
is also a good idea, no? And now pushing pawns.
Oh, and then queen g5. Okay, yeah, very solid play by white. Yeah, nice victory. Yeah, so Kenya coming back in the match.
Yes, but here we have also another result in favor of Taipei, because here black won this endgame. Yeah, as we expected, I would say.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, totally true. Yeah, black had a huge initiative and managed to make great use of it.
Yes, and guys, we have also another result that could be very now dangerous for Kenya, because Chinese Taipei won also this on this board, because the pawn b8 was was upgrading to a queen. So yeah, black decided to resign. Let's move to board 6. Let's see how this endgame is going. Actually, also here black seems to be doing really great. Is a pawn up, he has a pawn up, she has a pawn up in this endgame. And
two, I think knight takes e4 wins another pawn for black.
Yeah, so might be just completely over, no?
Yeah, I think so too. F5, love that move, but yeah, what black could have played knight takes e4, winning another pawn. In any case, black's still in the driver's seat. Knight c6, good move. Don't play king f6, please. King e6.
Yeah, king e6 is necessary. King f6, guys, would have lost due to e5.
Yeah, we've seen so many blunders like this already in previous matches, so I'm really scared about those things.
Yeah, sure, but this is possible. I mean, you just move the king, not thinking too much. You say, okay, on e6, there are some checks. On f6, not anymore, at least from the knight. And yeah, you could go. It could go wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Now, would you here play? Where would you place the knight? Knight e4 looks normal. Yeah, great square for
highlight, I think.
Knight g5 perhaps at some point, trying to attack h3. Black is better, but it's still a long way from victory. I think king d5 looks... Whoa, does that work? Okay, yeah, it works. Okay, so now king d... Yeah, I was wondering king takes e4, but I guess after g takes h3, black's gonna be 3 pawns up after king f3. c3, maybe knight d4 first is a good idea. Yeah, knight d4 first was a better idea, I think, so that you cannot play king d5.
Yeah, but still, I mean, wait, but here the pawn is...
Knight d4.
Oh.
So after g takes h3, knight d4, king goes back, king f3, and now it's kind of hard to see how black is going to win. I guess g5 and g4 is a good idea. And then it's hard.
Okay, maybe starting with h5.
Oh, but then king g3, and then the h pawn will fall.
Yeah, but if g4, it's not possible.
Yeah, so I want king g3 and then g4 to protect the h3 pawn. Yeah, this looks better for black, but the knight on d4 is controlling a lot of squares, so yeah. Yeah, and by the way, a lot of people in the chat are saying that Chinese Taipei is Taiwan. That's true, but in official official matches like this, they go by the name Chinese Taipei. So, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
All right, so I think we have also here another result. Okay, here white won, so another good result for Chinese Taipei that probably already won the match. No matter what happens here, even if here the player from Chinese Taipei is doing great. Let's see how the game is going.
All right, I think white's doing a good job. More pawns off the board, but yeah, this ending is...
over.
Now it's over. Now it's easy. Yeah, yeah. If there were rooks on the board, it would have been still kind of difficult, because there are still mate ideas. For example, Ding Li Ren didn't manage to win an endgame like that. But yeah, with rooks off the board, it's a clearly winning pawn ending, of course. Yeah.
Okay, let's move to another board. We have this queen endgame that where black is a pawn up, is of the match Hong Kong against Nepal, where Hong Kong is already 3-0, so the player from Hong Kong with the white pieces would love to try to make a draw, but I guess this is not that easy because, okay, now it's very
no,
easy.
no, that pawn ending is not winning. Or is it?
I think the king goes to f1 g1, so
Yeah, f3 king g1, right? No, f3 g takes f3,
yeah.
and then h4, and that's a draw.
Yeah, h4, very important.
Yeah, I was wondering why this was a draw, but after f3, g takes f3, king takes f3, and then h4. Yeah, the pawn.
Oh, time! No, I can't believe that.
White won. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, that happens too. That happens to everyone. Yeah, time trouble, disconnections. It happens all the time. Yeah, that's unfortunate. So let's clarify this ending, because if you play f3, it looks kind of winning for black, but after king takes f3, white has h4, and after this the pawn will be on the side of the board on the h file, and then it's of course a draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you play g4, then you lose because the h pawn will start running.
Yeah, always, you gotta be careful until the end. So let's see if we have some more games. But true, might be that this game started a bit later and should be the first game of Myanmar against Bahrain, I think.
Let's see. Yeah, that's Bahrain versus...
From the flag, guys.
Yeah, it seems like this is board... let's see.
Board 1, I think. Or board 1 or 2.
Yeah, you're right. This is board 1. And yeah, it's an evenly matched game on rating. But okay, the match is already clearly decided in favor of Myanmar. So yeah, this is for honor and glory for the black player from Bahrain. Maybe a half point could save some of that at least. But yeah, I think it's a totally equal position. I mean, white has a b3 pawn to take care of, but it cannot really be attacked by the black player. So what I'm guessing is that they are going to make a draw here. Yeah. I mean, white has much more time, but yeah, how could you ever proceed in a position like this?
Yeah, that's true. That's true, because
should be a draw.
Well, the only way to proceed would be to maybe put the rook on b7, the knight. Okay, draw by agreement. So, yes. Alright, so I guess all the games are finished. This means that we will soon have the standings, and we can try to understand which team are going to advance to next division. And yeah, okay, let's have a look at the standings. They are not yet updated, I guess. But yeah, here we are. Actually, yeah, they are already updated. That's incredible. So Thailand, Hong Kong, and Chinese Taipei. Yeah, they are doing great. And Myanmar is at 9 points, so he's really back. So won the last 4 rounds in a row. So
yeah, Myanmar coming back. The rating favorites actually of this pool. Yeah, but we can already congratulate 2 teams here. Thailand and Hong Kong already qualified for the next division. I don't think they can be taken over anymore. So yeah,
no,
they are through to the next division. So congratulations to those 2 countries. Have they played together? Have they played
not
against?
Not yet. They have still to play against each other.
So yeah.
For the victory. But I think that is not too important to be first, second, or third, because still the teams are the pool are not. It's not that you get an easier pool if you are number first. I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think that is really according to time zone. So that's why also Myanmar, Brunei were, for example, again in the same pool, even if they were first and
Yeah.
second in the same pool.
Yeah, it's true. I think we've explained this in the beginning as well. So the divisions are based on strength, but also on time zone, so that people will play on a normal time instead of one player playing at 4 o'clock at night against the player who plays 4 o'clock during the day, which would be, of course, yeah, a disadvantage. So yeah, there you go.
Yes,
Uh,
so these are the standings. Actually, they are all updated because we have all the results, and here we see Thailand won against Maldives, Chinese Taipei. Okay, how are they updated?
I don't think yeah, all the results are in.
Yes, now yes. So Thailand won 6-0 against Maldives. Chinese Taipei 5-1 against Kenya. Hong Kong won 4-2 against Nepal. Myanmar is coming back with a strong 5.5 to half point against Bahrain. And Brunei won against Tanzania for half a point.
Yeah, so yeah, some exciting matches are still underway. Of course, the two teams that we're going to focus on are Chinese Taipei and Myanmar. Myanmar looking strong the past few rounds, so we'll see if Myanmar can take over Chinese Taipei. For your information, they have already played against each other, and they have that result was a 3-3, so a draw. And Chinese Taipei actually has to play against Thailand in one of the next rounds. So, yeah, Chinese Taipei still needing to play against a very, very strong team. So Myanmar still very much in the race for the third place as well.
Yeah, that's true. So this is going to be interesting in the next uh yeah, in the next round. And as you mentioned, next round is going to be extremely important. Here, let's show it to everyone. Yeah, and look at those two match. We have Thailand Chinese Taipei. So Chinese Taipei could lose this match against Thailand. Instead, Myanmar could win the match against Nepal. And at that point, look at the scoreboard, Chinese Taipei and Myanmar would both be at 11 points. And just to make everyone understand what is happening, I want to show also the last round where we are going to have the big match between Thailand and Hong Kong. Myanmar will face Kenya, and instead Chinese Taipei will face Maldives. So really, I think it's really a possibility that Myanmar might qualify instead of Chinese Taipei.
Yeah, it could very well be true, but Chinese Taipei looking strong, beating a strong player and a strong team in this round, Kenya. So, and also with big figures. So, yeah, we'll see, of course, in one of the next rounds. In the next rounds, how this will continue, this battle between the two teams. But I guess for now, we are going on a short break, and we'll be back shortly with, of course, round 8 of Pool A in Division 4.
Yes. Hello, here we are, and we are back. I'm the Women FM Alessa Santeramo, and I'm here with the Grandmaster Roland Pruijssers from Netherlands. And we are going to go on for the Pool A round 8 of this FIDE Online Olympiad 2020. Big match in this round 8. What are your expectations?
Well, Thailand is a really, really tough opponent in this pool. So Chinese Taipei versus Thailand, a big match because Chinese Taipei still has a chance to move on to the next division by claiming spot 3 in the standings. But Thailand is the current number 1 in the standings. And so Chinese Taipei are going to have to beat the current number 1 or draw. I think a draw would also be pretty much okay for Chinese Taipei. But still, Thailand, a big opponent. They have been showing great strength in this pool. And yeah, then of course there's the other team that's still contesting for number 3, the number 3 spot in the standings. And that is Myanmar. Myanmar playing against Nepal. Myanmar actually looking very strong the past few rounds. They've been, I think, on a streak of 4-1 games.
Yes,
won
they won everything yesterday and also today.
So those two teams are the teams to look out for, and let us know what you think in the chat. Who will win the 3rd spot in the standings, do you think? Will it be Myanmar or will it Chinese Taipei? Let us know. We'll keep an eye on the chat. So, and otherwise, of course, the match we are going to take a look at is number 1, Thailand, and current number 3, Chinese Taipei. And as you guys can see, the match has already, the games have already started. Is this the match between Chinese Taipei and Thailand? I think we are looking at Bahrain versus Brunei. They are playing in the bottom of the standings, more or less. Let's see if we can find already the match Thailand versus Chinese Taipei. Some of the games have not yet started. Some of the matches also not yet. But yeah, we'll see how, we'll of course see when they are starting, and we can check the games, of course, then. So yeah.
Yes, right. I guess we have already some games. Which match would you like to follow? I guess Thailand, Chinese Taipei, because also Myanmar, Nepal is quite crucial, because Myanmar and Chinese Taipei are the one that will go for next round. So yes, and
all right, so in this well, in the meantime, of course, we can take a look at other games as well. So let's see what
I guess now everyone is really okay. So guys, I mean, we want to make a great interaction, so soon that we start the pool, you can decide, you have the power to decide. Do you want to check the match Nepal Myanmar or the match Thailand Chinese Taipei? Here in the chat should start a poll extremely soon, so vote for this because we are going to follow the match. Great idea from Roland. We are communicating also without words. So pool will start soon. So for which match would you vote for?
Yeah, so for me it would be Thailand versus Chinese Taipei. Yeah, because it will be number 1 versus number 3. Yeah, so that would be my choice, but yeah, let us know, of course, in the poll, which will be going on shortly, of course. And actually, we also have Kenya and Hong Kong, which is also kind of a fun match to watch. It will be the number 2 versus the number 4, Kenya. So that is also an interesting match in this round. Actually, we've got a jam-packed round 8 today, with the top teams playing against each other. So, but yeah, I see some notifications in the chat already, and the poll is up. So yeah.
Yes, the poll is up and it's lasting 2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So in the 2 minutes, let us know who you wanna see in this. On the board, the match Chinese Taipei versus Thailand or Myanmar versus Nepal. Let us know.
Chinese Taipei is currently leading, so let me move to Chinese Taipei. to the Chinese Taipei Thailand boards.
All right. And by the way, we have to rectify that. It was actually someone in the chat who mentioned that a poll would be a good idea. So thank you for that idea. Yeah. Now we have the poll running. So as far as I can see, Chinese Taipei match is winning. Clearly, a lot of people want to see that match, Thailand versus Chinese Taipei. And with less than 1 minute to go, I think we are going to see the match that I would personally also have chosen for. So yeah, there you go. Let's see
There
what
we go.
match is. It's Raymond Song versus Tupfa Kum. What a name to pronounce. Let's see. Yeah, Tupfa Kum Norkau. Okay, please don't, please don't forgive me for saying that name. Yeah, in any case, board one of Thailand, the strongholder of the Thailand team. He has for now a 100% score. So far, he's been performing extremely well. Actually, no, they changed it to number one board. The player who used to be number one, who used to be the number one board, has been substituted, and yeah, and it doesn't matter. They're still looking very, very strong. Thailand still being in the one spot. So even without their strongholder on board one, they are looking very, very strong. Okay, so new player in Thailand team in board one, Tupfa versus Kum Norkau. Tupfa Kum Norkau versus Raymond Song, and the rating difference is clearly in favor for the Chinese Taipei team. It's about 350 rating difference in favor of the Chinese Taipei player with the black pieces.
And just a quick update about the position. This is the main line of the of this Caro-Kann. Bishop f4, queen f5, bishop d2. Mostly the queen is going back to c7 here in this position. But here we have bishop b4. That should be also completely a playable move. Provoke c3 and bishop back.
Yeah, I actually had an opening discussion with a Dutch grandmaster colleague of mine, Mr. Sipke Ernst, and that was actually about 12 years ago, when I was not even a grandmaster yet. And actually, this is actually the reason why the bishop f4 line has gotten out of fashion, because white needs to push the c pawn to c4, and then black can counter that with a move like b5 later on. So yeah, by my knowledge, this line is more or less okay for black. It has been studied at around the 2009, 2010 days, and yeah, I think there are still a lot of fun ideas in that line. And at some point, when I was playing Mr. Sipke Ernst in 2008 in the Dieren Open tournament in the Netherlands, I managed to get a good position, but eventually it went on to be a draw. I was playing with the white pieces, he with the black pieces. So, yeah, but still a lot of fun. I think one of the ideas is long castle here, and then rook h, e1, and knight f5. That is one of the main ideas here in the position, I think.
Yes, and we have something similar to that. Long castle is already on the board, and instead the plans for black are always related to the move like b5, c5, sometimes even e5 could be an idea. So some breakthrough at the center.
Yeah, well, in this case, e5 would open up the e-file, so that's currently not the best idea. But the reason why the pawn on c4 is not so great is because black can start attacking it immediately with the move b5. So that provocation is very helpful. Imagine it, for example, if the pawn was still on c2, then white could start attacking on the king side with moves like g4, g5, and white would be more or less quick enough, but black has one move and already a target to make use of. So black is clearly faster on the queen side than white. And there you go, b5 played. Yeah, knight e4, I believe, is also not exactly the main move. Like I said, the main move, I believe, is rook h, e1 instead of the knight e4. Yeah, one move ago. So I think the black is doing perfectly fine after b5. The pawn sacrifice is very much okay for black. The open files will open if white takes twice on b5, and that is very, very dangerous for black. So yeah.
Wait, is Top Fun is this the first board?
Yep, this is the first board. So like I said, they switched their boards one out in the previous match. In the previous days, they had their strongholder, the 100% score player, on board one, but he was substituted out. Maybe he had a dinner with his parents or something and couldn't make it for this team for this day. But yeah, I mean they're still doing fine. The last match they won as well, and of course they are already qualified, so
Yeah.
they could do without their strongholder on board one. But yeah, as far as I can see, black is doing black is doing okay in this position at least. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. White could still go for something like g4, g5, but black is doing for sure well. Has also the square on d5, chances to attack on the king side, on the queen side, so doing well. Also d4 can be a target in the future.
Yep, I agree. E5 becomes more and more a possible breakthrough for black, like you mentioned. So yeah, I believe the black is doing perfectly okay, especially because of the nice square on d5. Once again, like you mentioned. So okay, so I guess we should move on to the next board.
Yes, yeah, we are. We have a new player that didn't play. I think it's the first game for him. Tinakrik Arunotnd with the black pieces.
Good luck with pronouncing that name. You are absolutely correct. This is the substitute for Mr. Kulpuettanon, who couldn't make it today. And so he's been substituted by this player. So yeah, once again, the ratings you see are the chess.com ratings and not the official ratings. So let me give you an update on that. Mr. Tinakrit has a rating of 2067. And so far, he won the first match. So he's technically on 1 out of 1 on a 100% score as well.
Yes, and what about the position? Here, it was a Sicilian, also a weird way to play the Sicilian. Let me show everyone. C3 and Queen C2 and then followed by D4. I didn't see so often such an idea. Don't know, what do you think, Roland? But the current position actually seems good for white.
Yeah, Queen C2 is an interesting idea there. The current position is Queen C2 with the idea to play D4, of course, and protecting the E4 pawn. I think it should be harmless. I think maybe a move like D5 looks weird, but I think that would be maybe already okay for black. In any case, white is a bit slow with the development with move Queen C2. It wasn't necessary yet, because if black takes on E4, then white had Queen A4 check with a double attack. But it does prepare the move D4, so yeah, you don't see this line very often. I believe it should be very much okay for black, especially because of bishop G4 perhaps and knight C6. But yeah, we'll see. The position in the game is more or less fine for white, so the opening was a success.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, isn't black okay as well?
Yeah, that's true. I don't like bishop C1. Maybe I prefer bishop somewhere else, like bishop D4.
Well, bishop D4 is knight D2, so needs to be careful there.
Oops.
Bishop takes C4 looks perfectly fine, actually. Yeah. If you take with the rook, then F3 looks normal, or actually A takes B5 would win a pawn. So black needs to take with the B pawn on C4, and after Queen C2, I think, white is more or less okay, but after knight G4, I think I would prefer black here. So
yeah, and the knight is doing well.
The position is very scary with knight C4. Maybe it's just best to grab the pawn. Maybe just A takes B5 is best. Although then black will get nice dark squares, so that's also not the best.
Yeah, because giving away is Knight is also... So maybe bishop
F4.
f4?
Bishop f4. Yeah, that's the way to go. Yeah, bishop f4 is the way to go. Yeah, and then, I mean, the bishop on c1 has the same idea, but the bishop is a little more active on f4. And now white has a clear threat with a takes b5, winning the pawn.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, I totally forgot to mention the rating of the Chinese Taipei player. The Chinese Taipei player has a rating of 2004. The white player, and so the rating difference is only a minor 63 advantage for the black player from Thailand. Yeah, with the black pieces. Knight b7.
Ooh,
Wow.
knight b7 just loses a pawn, no?
Yeah, and the knight is not looking too hot on b7 at the moment. Can go to c5, of course, but I mean, white has the bishop pair. If after a takes b5, bishop takes b5, the bishop has a nice square on c6 to make to build a nice home. And yeah, I mean, white is looking very good here. So pawn up, bishop pair, open a file, pass pawn on the b file. Positionally, this is already looking more or less over. But yeah, black, of course, can play for certain tricks in the position still. Yeah, but white looks very good here. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It was... yeah, this pawn on b5 was shaking, and I mean, if white can take that pawn without a problem, yeah, white is just doing great, because these two pawns, if pushed, could give a lot of problems to black.
Exactly. All right. So let's see the next game. This is looking at winning for black. Yeah, those pawns are just gonna march over to the next to the back rank of white. Rook c4. I would have considered rook a6 actually.
I agree.
Just always put the rooks behind the pawn if you can. But okay, this is fine as well. Black is still two pawns. Yeah, 2 pawns up. So just bring the king in, protect the bishop d7. Really good suggestion as well, and it should be over. Yeah. So Chinese Taipei looking good on the first. What is it? 2 boards it seems.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, this is the third board.
Oh, the third board. All right. So yeah, the third board. You're right.
Yes,
Yep.
let's go to another board, to the next board. This is the second. This is the second women board, and this time is black again. Black has to pass pawn, but this time is the player from Thailand.
Yeah. So yeah, somehow black doing well in this match, and bishop e4, nice move, pinning the knight. White black is a pawn up this time, so not 2 pawns like in the previous game. Yeah, looking very good for black. Black has the more active rooks. The knight needs to be protected, of course.
Yeah, after something like rook b3, maybe
just
c5. Not c5.
maybe just take on d3.
And then c5.
Yeah, and then c5, or after rook b3, rook a3 would be a good move to exchange 1 pair of rooks.
Yeah, I think that having 2 rooks and endgame with 2 rooks would give always some chance of draw, no?
Yeah, exactly. But in this case, after taking on d3, rook takes d3, and then rook c2, then trying to push the rooks onto the second rank, looks extremely good for black. Actually, I would actually try to be a bit more precise. Maybe just rook c2 right now. Yeah, so that you can always take the knight later on d3. If knight b4, just rook b2, and the knight has to return to d3, and then black would have won a tempo. Rook a4, yeah, not a bad move per se. I guess black just wants to play b4 and b3. Yeah, this is looking extremely good for black. Yeah, looks
Yeah,
winning.
that's true. Alright, so let's go to Another board? No, I was suddenly confused. Okay, I lost the match.
Yeah.
Where were we?
Lost the match for a second. We'll get it on board shortly.
Okay, here we should be. Okay, so I guess we were at this endgame, so it's here that we should go. This is the junior male board, and yeah. What about the ratings of the players?
Yeah, junior male board is yeah, Prin of Thailand is actually one of the strongholders of the Thailand team. I think, and let me check that real quickly. I think that he still has, yeah, he has a 100% score in this pool. He has 6 out of 6 so far, and he missed the last match, but he's now back on board 5, and yeah, let's see if he can maintain that 100% score. His rating is 1834, the Thailand player with the white pieces, and he's playing against Ting Hao Wang, and Ting Hao Wang has a rating of, let me check, 1788. So rating wise, not much difference, and but yeah, in this position, very complex. I don't know what to say. After e takes d6, is that too dangerous? I guess bishop takes c3. Yeah, e takes d6 look very dangerous because after then bishop takes c3, and you cannot take back with the queen because the bishop on f4 is then attacked. Yeah, so this then you have to take with the b pawn, and then queen a3 and bishop e6. Looking very, very dangerous for white. So the pawn cannot be taking on d6, I believe. That would be very, very dangerous. So how to deal with this then?
Yeah, that's a good question because seems not so easy to protect. Maybe something like knight d5 could be an idea.
I guess then queen takes d2, rook takes d2, and then d takes e5. That I think that wins a pawn for black. Yeah, hard position. I have a hard time figuring out what to do here. Maybe. Okay. I think I got the answer. So a3 first. Queen a5 most likely, and then you take on d6.
Yeah, because after bishop take, you can take with the queen, because finally the bishop on f4 is not hanging.
Exactly, and then white's pawn up. Still, black has good compensation for the pawn, because after queen takes c3, b takes c3, the pawn structure is very much damaged on the king side. So even if black loses a pawn, still some compensation, so not the end of the world.
Yes, I agree. So let's see what is still thinking, because yeah, as you said, it's not an easy position. Okay, but a3 is on the board.
I'm wondering what to do here. You could also, yeah, queen a5, most logical move, and after e takes d6, you don't have to take on c3. You could also just play a move like e takes d6, just taking back, and then, yeah.
Or rook d8 maybe.
I was thinking maybe you can simply take on e7 then, but then knight takes e7. Yeah, rook d8 looks interesting, yeah. Oh, wait, e5. It's also a move, by the way. Oh, that looks fun. Yeah, not sure how good it is, but it's nice to play a move like that always. Yeah. No, it's probably bad, yeah. I
Yeah.
hate when there's a computer evaluation next to the board. I'm always checking like, is this a good move? Is this a good move? But yeah, all right. So yeah, probably just rook d8, like you said. Oh, did he do it?
No. But
Oh.
also rook d8 doesn't seem so great. So let's see how it went. Knight take d6 and knight d5. Okay, but now looks stable for white, because white now is attacking the e7 pawn. So there are two possibilities: to retreat the queen to d8 or to change the queen. And yeah, if changing queens, I think white is doing perfectly fine. Yeah, a bit more space. The knight on d5 looks powerful, but should be around equal, I think.
Oh, there's a trick in the position. That's knight takes e7 at some point, winning the knight on d6. But yeah, I agree. I think after knight e4, for example.
Yeah, knight
Yeah,
e4, maybe knight f5. Okay, knight e4 seems better. So yeah,
looking okay for both players. I think I would choose white because of the knight c7 or knight takes e7 ideas here. But okay, more or less okay for both teams, both players.
yes. So let's go to the last board of the match, and it's the junior female board. And this position, black is a pawn up, and now he's pushing at the center.
Well, I think black is winning material here. After the knight moves, black can simply play
e4.
e4 and wins the exchange.
Yes, I guess so. I guess so. So black is doing great because he's already a pawn up. Okay, now maybe a full rook, no?
And Kent white has knight e7 still, but yeah, it's still way too much material for black. Yeah,
He's a
so
full piece then.
yeah, full piece, but a huge piece. The bishop is very very strong in the end. So yeah, the what we're looking at is queen takes d5, rook takes d5, bishop takes a1, knight e7, king f8, knight takes c6, c8, rook takes c8, and yeah, the black is a full piece up. This is clearly winning for the player from Thailand. Yeah.
Yes, that is like that.
So
So
that is board. Let's see.
6.
That's the board 6. Yeah, board 6.
Yes. So yeah, black doing amazing here. So let's try to understand. Let's try to wrap again every board. Let's go back to the first board, and here we are now in an endgame. Still 5 pawn against 5. Oh, this knight on d6 is doing well.
I believe this was the Caro-Kann opening, where yeah, okay, the position is okay for both players. I think that both players have got everything under control. One thing that concerns me is the pawn on e5, perhaps.
Might
I
be a
guess
bit weak.
a bit weak. I was thinking maybe a move like rook d5, but white simply has the answer f4. So yeah, not really a problem actually. Yeah, I think both players are doing all right. I think maybe black. I would choose black probably because, for example, after a move like knight d4, then if white exchanges the bishop,
Okay, it's white to move.
or yeah, okay, just one a move like rook g2 or something, then knight d4, and after bishop takes d4, rook takes d4, white pawns are just a bit more weak. So I think white is better. White is okay, but exchanging the bishop for the knight, for example, could give some problems. So yeah, I think that white is. I think it's easier to play with black for the moment, at least.
Yes. Let's see how it went. So rook c1.
So c4 or rook d5. I guess c4. Bishop takes a7, then you lose a pawn. So you have to play e5 first. And now f4, I suppose. And now, I don't know. f5, is that really a threat? Yeah, black could also play f5, by the way. That's actually a pretty good suggestion. Yeah, yeah, because it stops any f5 break from white, and if you exchange on f6, then the pawn of f4 becomes a permanent weakness. So yeah, I like black. I like rook c1 idea was yeah, I don't think rook c1 was the best move. I think it helped black actually. Yeah.
Yes, so as you said, black seems to be doing good due to these pawns that are a bit weak here, and yeah, that's like this. Okay, we have more moves. f4 g6 was played, also with the idea to play against f5.
Yeah, I
Um,
like it. G6 looks very good. You want to get the king to f5 as soon as possible and try to target the f4 pawn. Yeah, I like g6. Yeah, I think white should maybe play a move like rook h1. Um, but yeah, I do think rook f1. Okay, that's a pawn sacrifice. Can you take the pawn? I think you can actually,
okay,
because
maybe because after okay maybe f5
if you play f5, then I can play knight d4.
and then rook h1.
Then knight takes f5. No, 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 no. For scratch that. Don't play that
Ha
move.
ha ha ha!
No,
Boom boom.
no, I fell for that. Okay, instead of knight takes f5, rook takes e5.
Yes, this looks perfectly fine, and still black is a pawn
5,
up also here.
e8. Yeah, this is a pawn up for black. Black's clearly in the driver's seat right now.
Yes, I
Yeah,
agree.
so let's see if he takes the pawn. I'm very curious. Looks
Yes,
very good. You could also play. Oh, there you go.
on the
Yes,
board.
yes.
So the player from Chinese Taipei is doing great here once again.
Yeah. So Chinese Taipei, are they going to clinch this match and go for place 3 in the standings? That's what
Yes,
we.
this would be an important victory for Chinese Taipei, really. Let's move to board 2 because we have results and this a victory for Chinese Taipei. And this means that really they could get it. They could get that third place. And we have another victory. Oh no. No, sorry.
Thailand this time for Thailand. This is board Chanida versus
4, I think.
China. This is board 4 indeed. So Thailand not giving up on this match either. Yeah.
And there is also results coming soon, but this time is in favor of Chinese Taipei. So
As far as I can see, actually, I think Chinese Taipei are winning this match. I think we've seen many more good results for Chinese Taipei so far.
yeah, I agree. I mean, here we should be already 2-1. And also the boards might be a victory, so should be a 3-1. Yes, and the result is, by the way, on the mate is on the board. So we are ready 2-1 for Chinese Taipei. And also the first board is doing particularly good. And let's have a look also at the time for white. I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, e6 is also a move that kind of baffles me because after f takes e6, black just wins a pawn. f6 is not dangerous because you can play knight f5 there. So yeah, black is gonna be 2 pawns up. So yeah, this is looking great.
Yes, and we have a victory here of white, so Super Green Tea, this is his nickname on chess.com. Prin won the Prin won here. The match actually was not an easy position, I think. Yes, was this yeah, we saw this.
Oh yeah, this position. So Prin of Thailand still on 100% score, 7 out of 7. Look at
Incredible, no? And so we have two boards. We are currently at 2-2. But the board 1 is really looking great for Chinese Taipei. Black is a pawn up. As you can see, there are 3 pawns on the queen side and 2 and 2, 3 against 2 on the queen side and 2 against 2 on the king side. Actually, it seems like, yeah, black is going to win another pawn. I thought the idea was to play f6, but maybe just knight f5 and nothing.
actually, I think that rook f5 is the clear way to go there, perhaps even. Yeah, because with after f6, rook f5, yeah, the rook on f1 is unprotected, so and exchanging the rooks would definitely be fatal for white, I believe. So rook f5 or knight f5, I think both are just perfectly fine
Yeah,
for
because
black.
even if yeah, black is losing some pawn on the king side.
Just h4. Oh wait, you do have to play king g6 first, or otherwise f7.
Oh yeah.
But the h pawn is going to march quickly, and yeah, it should be easily winning for black, I believe. Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
All right. Yeah, let's move on. What's going on actually? So f takes e6. Okay, now it's very clear. Rook e5, actually a nice move there. Because if you play knight takes e6, white could have played rook f7, winning back at least one pawn on a7. So after rook e5, and now
But
knight
still
takes e,
now, this is also hanging.
but knight takes e6 is perfect because after rook f7, rook takes a7, black now has rook e1, winning the bishop on h2. So yeah, black is just two full pawns up.
Yes.
Looking good for Chinese Taipei. Actually, also a draw in the match would be very good for them because then they would at least, if Myanmar manages to win their match, they would at least keep a 1 point advantage over that team.
But you know,
So
I really think that they are going for a strike here, for a full.
looks like a draw because in this position, what? What?
Exactly.
Wait, black was a full piece up, right?
Yes, white was doing great somehow. Something went sideways. Oh, I see. Maybe this can be. Okay, this we all. Ah! Oof.
Oh, that hurts. Oh my God. That
Yeah.
hurts. Just forgetting about the bishop on a1. Ay, 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 ay. That hurts. That hurts so much. That means actually the Chinese Taipei is looking. This is looking like just a draw. The rook ending, 4 against 3 should be a draw in general. Although it's very hard to play, of course. Magnus Carlsen described that rook ending as just chances for the player with 4 pawns. So even if it's theoretically a draw, it's very hard to defend. So, but yeah, will black win the c4 pawn? That's the question because white is going after the g6 pawn. It's
Yeah.
looking like a draw simply. Yeah, but if Thailand wants to clinch at least a draw, they have to win this game because number 1 board is looking very, very good for Chinese Taipei.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think that white black has a good chance to win here?
I think yes, because probably after rook c8, rook c6 might be good, no?
Yeah, looks good.
And then this means that we are going to see f4 against 3, and 4 against 3 is chances, as you said. So that's my idea. Black has chances and needs to have the chances for the team.
I'm wondering actually if the pawn ending is a draw after rook takes c6.
I think it's risky.
At the very least, yeah. But if we can calculate a little bit, what about rook takes c6, king takes c6, king e2, and I'm going to run towards the king side pawns. King e3, king f4.
Or maybe g5, that's true.
Yeah, I wanted to play h4 then. Yeah, maybe it's a draw. Yeah, let's say g takes h4, g takes h4, king takes c4, king f4. Yeah, it's a draw.
Yeah, let me see if you see here the engine going crazy.
Yeah, I don't like engines.
So what about g5, king here, take, king here, take this, take, king here. No, wait, it's too much. G5.
Might be the way. King f4, king takes, king d3. Yeah, I think king g5. No. Now the e pawn is going to run forward. So we have to play king f4. But yeah, this is the way to go. g4 is simply it should be winning for black. Yeah, let's see if white's.
Oh, we have this.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we have this endgame, and now it's completely winning, no?
It's completely winning. Yeah, white had to choose to go to the king side to at least try and catch the pawns, and then.
Yeah, f3 the losing move, because now it's just over. Yeah, now I think king d4. Yeah, king d4. Best way to.
So that means it will still be a free draw if black wins. Yeah, because on the first.
Oh no! Wait.
Wait,
Oh
what?
no, we have the results. I thought that this was the first board. Actually not.
No,
So
not
I
really.
thought, okay, it's going to be a draw.
Okay, so let's see, let's see. Let's go back to board one if we can find it.
It is over board one.
It's over. It's
It's over.
already been
Black one.
black. So that means that the match is over. It's going to be a 3-3 for Thailand versus Chinese Taipei. And that makes me really curious about the other match, Nepal versus Myanmar. Maybe we could find some of the games in that match because Myanmar still has a chance, I believe. If they will not win this match, then they are more or less out of contention for.
So I need Roland. Okay, so Roland, here we have a victory for black. So Nepal won.
Oh, okay, Nepal won.
Yes, here we have a
Here we
victory
go.
for black. So Myanmar. A victory of white. So Nepal too. A draw.
How do I do that? So two
Um,
and a half, 2.5, 1.5, guys.
okay, so then okay, then I don't find any other games.
Maybe they already finished and
Yeah, there is a game still going, so let's focus on this game. It looks so messy still. It's still so many pieces on board. We want an easy end game. Ah,
what's this? It looks after D4, isn't black just winning?
oh yeah, d4. Nice battery going there. And yeah, it seems like, yeah. Yeah,
Let me
d4, just so strong.
find the up. Oh wow, wow. Actually, oh, I've got some results actually. So, everyone, hold your horses. Nepal is currently 3-2 in the lead against Myanmar. So that means that it's actually more or less clear who will qualify for the next round.
Ooh,
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
Nepal
yes.
is winning. So,
D4, black is winning. King F1, I guess Rook takes, no, Queen. Wait, what? How does this win actually? So Queen H1, Bishop G1, and then Rook takes G3. Looks very good in this position. Yeah, or Bishop G1 and then Knight E3. Knight E3 wins the game. King F2, Queen G2, and it will actually be mate. Yeah, Knight E3 is 0-1 for black, and that means that Nepal wins the match with 4-2 against Myanmar. Wow, that is an upset. That is an upset.
yes, this means that we are going to have a look shortly at yeah, at the standings. If this might mean that with a round in advance we know the I mean, it's true that we gotta see, we gotta check, guys. We gotta check.
Yeah, absolutely, of course. Yeah, the results are slowly coming in for us. We'll, of course, are there maybe some games that we can still check? Well, let's see if mate in one happens. Just to, yeah,
Yes.
it's over.
Okay, there are
Never
still
know.
some games. Here we are. Should be the last game of the match, Bahrain against Brunei. Yeah, and this endgame white is a pawn up. So I would say that is doing better also because there is the A file where two white rooks are yeah, having fun.
The two right rooks having fun. They're having a party in the back garden of the black pieces there. Yeah, knight G3, knight E4 looks good. I would like to have the knight somewhere more active. Maybe knight C1, knight B3, or knight C1, knight D3 looks okay. Rook D8 just being a bit annoying. You could play Rook A8 and then try to mate on the back rank. That's a sneaky idea. Yeah.
Oh,
Rook, oh, that's a mouse slip, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's
Rook D7 was the.
yeah.
Yes, it will
Rook
be a
D7 was
resignation.
the move.
Yes.
So yeah. Bahrain losing the match against, oh no, drawing the match against Brunei actually, with 3-3 because of that. No Lebanon. Nope, Lebanon will be in Pool C. Yep. So you have to wait for a little while there.
All right, so I guess we are very soon ready for the standings and the results. Let's have a look at everything. Tanzania won 4-2 against Maldives. I guess this was the last game, so it was a victory for Brunei. So should be a 3-3 Brunei. Bahrain, yes, 3-3 was updated. Nepal won 4-2, and this is important. Was not expected. I have to be honest. I thought Myanmar is going to win, and actually, Thailand is also going to win. Instead, we have a draw in the match Thailand-Chinese Taipei, and a loss, an important, decisive loss between for Myanmar. So let's go immediately to the scoreboard. Here we have the scoreboard of all the pool, and look at that, guys. It's official. There are 3 teams that advanced already to Division 3, and they are Hong Kong, Thailand, and Chinese Taipei. So congratulations to those 3 teams for fighting so well, and they are already able to qualify with a round in advance. So yeah.
Yeah, that was a big upset. Actually, this was a very exciting pool. We are not over yet with this pool. Actually, of course, they will still play the next round, the final round 9. It's all decided though, so they will be. Well, in the Netherlands, we've got a saying: they will be playing for bacon and beans. That means that they're not playing for anything anymore. So yeah,
Yes, and
congratulations to them, and
yeah,
yeah,
what is important is that next round there will be also Pool B starting, so we will have some extra fire on board because we know who will qualify from Pool A, but we still don't know who will qualify from Pool B. So for sure we are going to have a look at this pool as well. So yeah, bacon and beans is dope. Was told.
bacon and beans. Yeah, yeah, it's a Dutch saying. I guess that if the Witte is still here, he knows exactly what I mean in the chat. So yeah, there you go. Okay, so I guess we're gonna go on a break. We'll be back shortly with a few minutes, and since Pool A is already decided and Pool B is about to start, we will focus on Pool B. So don't go anywhere. Nothing is decided yet in Pool B. We'll see you shortly.
And we are back. I'm women of have Alessia Sotero, and I'm here with the Grandmaster from Netherlands, Roland Pruijssers. Oh, sorry. And we are ready for the last round of Pool E. But exactly now, we are also starting with the last 3 rounds of Pool B. And I guess that as we know exactly what is going to happen in Pool A, because as we said, there are 3 teams that already qualified: Hong Kong, Thailand, Chinese Taipei. We are going to focus all our attention to Pool B. Well, we don't know yet which team are qualifying. Do you have any prediction, Roland?
In Pool B, yeah, it is looking very, very good for the top 3 teams: Syria, Mozambique, and Malta in Pool B. They have all played against each other already, and they are currently still in the lead with yeah, an advantage over the other teams. Of course, Namibia, Uganda, Qatar, they all have still chances to qualify for the next league. But of course, it's looking very, very good for Syria, Mozambique, and Malta because of their current lead in match points. So, yeah, let's then take a look what kind of matches we can expect in round 7. Yeah, any match that catches your eye?
I think Uganda, Namibia. As we said, Mozambique, Syria, and Malta are doing really good, and they will be playing against Malta against Qatar, Mozambique against Kuwait, and Cyprus, Syria against Cyprus. So I think Namibia, Uganda could be interesting, as Namibia gonna need a victory to try to challenge. It means this would be also mean that Uganda would be out.
Yeah, that's true. Namibia and Uganda number 4 and 5 in the current standings. If Namibia does not win, or if Uganda does not win, they are more or less out of contention for one of the top spots to qualify for the next round. So, yeah, I totally agree. Let's take a look at that match. And yeah, of course, we'll keep an eye on the other matches as well.
Yes, so we are ready with the games.
All right. Let's see if we can find the games of that match.
Yes.
Give us a few minutes. Yeah, but yeah, Mozambique, Kuwait, Malta, Qatar, and Cyprus, Syria. The 3 teams that are currently in the lead are, of course, the favorites there in those matches. Yeah.
Yes, here we are. There is the first border read of this match. Uganda against Namibia is on the screen, and we should be here with the first board where Harold, the FIDE master Harold Wanyama, is facing the international master Dante Boykes.
Yeah, perfect pronunciation, I guess. And Namibia, let me also give an update on the ratings, of course. Yeah, so once again, the ratings that you see next to the players are actually the chess.com ratings, and those, they could have just made a new account just recently, or they could have not played too much on their account, so that means that the ratings are not really worthy of what their strength is. So I'll give you an update on what the FIDE ratings are so that you know what you can expect more or less, and when an upset or normal victory on paper occurs. So Dante Beukes from Namibia with the black pieces has a rating of 2129, and the player from Uganda, the FIDE master Harold Wanyama, has a rating of 2295. So the rating advantage is for the player of Uganda with the white pieces, but the player from Namibia is an international master. So, yeah, exciting first board match, I would say. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, what's going on here? Who's better and why?
Well, good question. Let's mention first of all the opening. It started like a King's Indian, and the current position is a mixture, I would say, between a King's Indian and a Dragon. That actually makes sense because also the moves of these two openings looks very similar. The bishop is already on e6, so probably black is not going to play e5. Um, and I think actually that black position is alright. I still prefer the white position due to the knight on d5. But I think that black has no problem anymore in this position. And maybe an idea could be to try to do a6 and b5.
Yep, I was thinking the same thing, a6 and b5. Yeah, I am from, of course,
Namibia.
yeah, I'm sorry. The flags is sometimes hard to remember and recognize, but yeah, I thought that was the right plan with the move. White replied with the move b3. Yeah, this is a typical King's Indian position where White went for the fianchetto variation. What is weird about this though is the knight on d2. The knight on d2 looks very strange there, and it seems I would actually prefer black here, although I'm not 100% sure how to continue this. Actually, isn't black just winning a pawn here after bishop takes d5? C takes d5 and knight b4.
Oh, yeah, this looks so good.
Because the a2 pawn is hanging as well as the d5 pawn, and it can be followed up by a knight c3 move, looking very dangerous for black. And I guess the pawn move with b3 was a mistake because it prevents white from playing queen b3 to protect both the a2 pawn and the d5 pawn. So yeah, that is why I think b3 was a mistake. Let's see if black maybe can can make use of that. Yeah, the suspense moment. Will black win that pawn with bishop takes d5? So a better move instead of b3 would maybe just be a move like a3, just to maybe start pushing b4 at some point,
Yeah.
or a move like e4 also makes a lot of sense. Just or knight f4 also interesting. Well, there are a lot of better moves than b3. So
Yeah, I
so
agree.
makes a lot of sense.
I agree, but okay. White cannot go back, and b3 was played, and this knight before is on the board.
Mm.
So
So black winning a pawn. Player from Namibia doing great. Knight c4. Knight takes a2. Looks good.
yes, and then the knight is will just go back. Okay, the idea knight take if yeah, because after rook k1 there is probably okay. Also knight takes c1 is a possibility. So yeah,
Yep.
black is doing amazing here.
Yeah. Pawn up. Looks good.
Uh,
Right.
do we have already result in board 2? Yes, this is not board 2, but it's another match, but we do have a result, and this is a result in favor of the player from Nepal. Okay, this is another pool and another round, so sorry for this.
Yeah, that's actually, of course, pool A, which is also finishing with round 9, the last round of the pool there. We are not going to focus on that because everything is already decided in pool A, so that's why we are continuing with pool B right now. Yeah,
Yes. So let's move to the second board. Not sure if this is the second board, but we have here with the white pieces Mr. Simon Scheidel and Innocent Chimera with the black pieces.
yeah. So Innocent from Uganda has a rating of 1866 with the black pieces, and Shi Dolo from Namibia has a rating of 1874. So ratings are basically equal for both players. On board 2 indeed of the match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I like white. White looks good. What do you think, Alessia?
Oh, I agree. I also like white because there are some perspective on the king side. It's a bit sad that maybe would be better this position without a pawn on e3, just taking this and throwing out of the board. But sadly, this is not possible. Sadly for white, I mean, for black is
Yeah.
very good because yeah, there is potential, but. Um,
After
yeah,
knight e4, after knight e4, white will have a hard time putting some pressure on the black position, I
yeah,
think. Yeah, because like you said, white wants to play, put the e3 pawn, pick it off the board, and throw it away into the garden. But after knight e4, the pawn on e3 is stuck. So white will have, okay, there you go. Yeah, now e4 is possible again. Not right now, of course. The queen on h4 is attacked by the queen. Would you consider playing g5, or would you just move the queen back, for example, to g3?
uh, good question.
Oh,
Maybe.
wait. What about knight g5?
Yeah, 95 I was thinking h6, and what is next?
Rook takes f7.
Oh, rook take f7 followed by knight take e6. That's amazing. Okay, very good.
That looks winning, actually. That looks
Boom!
completely over.
Yeah, it seems like winning, but this, let's see if.
Ooh, that is nice. Knight g5. Black cannot do anything about it, I think, even after knight h6, trying to put some extra protection on the f7 pawn. You still have rook takes f7, so
Yeah, very strong. Very
yeah,
strong. This
it's over.
combination
After
of
knight
moves.
g5, it's over. Yeah. Oh my God, that's nice. That is nice. Hope we can see it on the board. That would be spectacular. So now again a suspense moment. Will white play knight g5 or will we not? Place your bets in the chat. Will knight g5 come on the board or not?
Yeah, so yeah, right knight g5 if you think that knight g5 was played, also to give white some help.
Yeah.
Knight g5, knight g5. Yeah, black should resign. No, I don't think so actually. Because still white has to show has to show the moves. So after
Yeah.
knight g5 and the rook take f7, I agree. Black could resign.
Yeah, and after queen g3 is also perfectly okay for white, of course, followed by a quick e4 at some point. Still, there will be some attacking possibilities, but it will be a lot harder to win if white does not play knight g5, of course. Actually, the material, I was thinking maybe the material balance would still be more or less okay for black, but it's two pawns and a queen versus a rook and a knight, and that is way too much material after knight g5. So, yeah, let's see. Let's see. Oh, the suspense is real. We have to wait. I can't wait. Come on, play a move.
No!
Oh, the dash.
But
Darn,
okay.
darn it. Missed chance there for white. White's
Yeah.
still better. Of course, the knight on g8 does not have a future at the moment, and e4, if white gets that on the board, white's doing still great. So, yeah, unfortunately. h4, h5 also really good. Missed chance for white, unfortunately. We'll get back to this position later.
Yes.
Let's check another game.
Sure, let's go on with oh, we have Shakira. Namina mina. So Shakira, the women's CM from Uganda. Shakira Ampere against Sicilian Mentila. What about their ratings?
Yeah, to WCMs, they are both rated about 1460, a very even match on rating. Yeah, so let's see how this position is. It looks very solid for both players. Yeah, white has the bishop pair, but might might have to give that up soon because, for example, after bishop a2 or bishop e5, black can just play bishop d6 and then the bishop pair is gone. I guess white does have a little more space, but black's position is so solid that I do not dare to give white the advantage here. Yeah, it should be more or less okay for black. Yeah, very solid position, nothing going on at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's
Right.
very stable and solid. Um, what do you think would be an idea for white to?
Yeah, one idea that comes to mind is to try and make use of the double pawn on g6. Like, for example, to play h4, h5 at some point, with connected with c3, bishop c2, to maybe create some sort of attacking possibilities on the king side. Yeah, if bishop f6, just move the bishop back. The bishop can now move back to h2 or g3.
Mm-hmm. I
And
like actually this idea of c3, bishop c2, h4, h5. Clearly, the h4 pawn gotta be somehow supported by some other pieces. But for example, bishop g3. You said, did you say bishop g3?
yeah, I like bishop g3 better than bishop h2 because it supports the a4 move. And if black is going to give us a hard time with queen e7, disallowing h4, then we can also play rook e4, still preparing the h4 move. Yeah, I think white's slightly better. Black is extremely solid, so white should be pretty careful not to overpush there. Also, after bishop g3, an idea for black could be knight e7 and knight f5, for example, trying to prevent that plan ever from happening. So it's
Yeah,
going to be a slow game, I
a
believe.
slow game.
Yeah.
So as what going to be should be a slow game, let's move to the next one. It's funny that we said slow game, and here the white is called passions and Susus.
What's going on here? So patience versus Panina. Um, yeah, big rating difference. Patience with the white pieces has a rating of 1031, and Panina from Uganda has a rating of 1609. So the player from Uganda with black is clearly the favorite on rating at least.
Yeah. So there is a pawn on d4 that is unprotected, is whiteable. So I guess c3 should be played here. Yes, c3 is on the board. And now we have more or less, well, actually, white is a pawn up.
Yeah, white's a pawn up. Black can play e5, for example, trying to create some problems there. I'm not too sure how great this is for white because black does get a lot of chances after e5. It's going to get a bit messy after this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Okay. I mean d5. Maybe d5 is going could be a possibility.
and after e takes f4,
Yeah, d takes c6,
rook takes c6.
and then just play maybe queen f3 or rook c1. I mean, let's say playing for the bishop here and trying to attack this pawn on f4.
Yeah. This
Um,
doesn't give back a pawn to white. Now it's 6 versus 6 in the pawn
yeah,
count.
yeah, yeah. But still, I think that white is a bit better here. It's true that the 3c point might be a bit annoying, so maybe we could take on e5 even.
E5, d takes e5 looks like the logical choice, and after knight takes e5 or queen takes e5, just move the bishop back or to c2 or e4. Looks like this is simply a lot better for white actually. Bishop e4 looks good.
Yeah, because yeah, I like because bishop e4 is also preventing knight e5. That would increase the pressure on c3.
Yeah,
Well, it's already
and
prevented.
yeah, this simply looks a lot better for white. Maybe instead of d takes e5, there's also an option to play a5 instead. So a few moves back on move 20 instead, then maybe the move a5 is also kind of enjoyable, I think. Yeah,
a5.
yeah. with the idea e takes f4, then a takes b6, and yeah, with still a strong center with c3 and d4, queen
That's
f3
true.
on this move looks pretty interesting as well. But I think d takes e5 is the most easy way to answer all of this. Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
looks solid. Yeah.
And this is on the board, and also bishop e4 is on the board. So very solid position for white, solid pawn up. So I think white needs just to bring all these pieces into action. And what's up here? a5 and knight d5?
Oh, darn it. Jesus, that is indeed a very good possibility for white now. I didn't see that. Wow, yeah. The rook c7, what an unfortunate move there. Yeah, after a5, knight d5, it's over. Yeah, white wins the game then. Too
Yeah.
much material, pawn up, exchange up. Yeah, it should be over. Let's see. Wow, that would be actually kind of an upset. Yeah, 600 rating point difference in favor of the black player here.
Yeah, but I have to say this. Um, Especially some African countries are struggling to get some tournaments, and so it's clear that also the FIDE rating is not so accurate. Um, and yeah, might be that they improve much faster than the rating increases. So the rating difference is not really so accurate, I think.
Ah, that's a good that's a good point there actually. Yeah, so ratings only tell so much. When we get to the higher divisions, I think the rating will tell us a lot more.
Yeah,
Because of
and
course
for
the players.
example, I want to add some example about the rating. In few years ago, at least, every player in Italy was starting with the standard rating around 1400, and um, and most of the Italian championship, the youth Italian championship, were actually won with player with 1200, 1300, with much few rating, because it's true that they lost a lot of rating, especially when starting to play chess, but it means that this rating was a sign that they played a lot of games, so it was a sign of experience.
Okay.
And that's why sometimes the rating is not really accurate.
Yeah, it's but it's the best that we can work with. We don't have any other guideline to
That's true.
guide us about, of course, how strong the players are. Yeah, we're talking about the lower divisions. This is Division 4, and that is the second lowest divisions in this whole Olympiad. But like you said, take the ratings with a grain of salt. Of course, there are also youth players participating, and youth players are known to develop very, very quickly, of course, with good coaches. And yeah, children learn fast, they grow up fast. So what can I say? Yeah, two youth boards, by the way, board 5 and 6. Two grown up, I'm gonna say grown up, adult boards on board 1 and 2, and two adult boards also on board 3 and 4, but those are for the women. Just a quick reminder there.
Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to find some more board, and yes, here we are
Oof.
with might be the junior board or maybe the women board, or maybe the junior women board.
I have no idea what's going on here. Let's see. So, what board is this? Let me give you an update. So,
White is Lure Horn.
yeah, and yeah, that's the women youth board. Yeah, so rating, take it with a grain of salt, like Alicia explained. Lyra Horn has a rating of 1116, the player from Namibia, and Maria has a rating of 1459, the player from Uganda. So big rating advantage for the player from Uganda with the black pieces.
Yes, and I like a lot here this position for white. So the player for Namibia, according to me, is doing great. There are huge threats in this position. For example, okay, now is a check, but yeah,
Rook d4.
yes, rook d4 might be a way too, but the threat I want to show is bishop takes g6, F takes g6, queen takes g6, king h8, and knight f7 mate. So,
Yep. That's very dangerous indeed, yeah.
and also the king might go, for example, I mean, this is still playable, but queen f6 would have been even worse because now the queen is attacking, also f7 might be hanging.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm maybe scared. Why is the engine exploding now? I mean, it seems so good, this
Black
position
is
for...
knight f4. Black is knight f4.
Huh, knight f4.
Yeah, with knight e2 threat, you cannot take the knight because the d1 rook is hanging, and you cannot take the rook.
So is king e1 the winning move? No.
Yeah, some tactics there, some tactics there.
Okay, so queen f6 actually could have been a good trap.
Yeah, by the way, there has been a mentioning about why the 1400 player has a title. Yeah, we've explained that earlier with another player. Sometimes they win zonal tournaments, and that means that they are awarded titles like that. It's also, for example, when you become European champion, then or women's European champion, then automatically you're going to get the GM title. So yeah, like that's the way you also can earn titles.
Yes.
23. Oh yeah. That's not good. I like Queen King E1. That's really advanced stuff there.
Yeah, I agree. I really like because sorry. Yeah, it seems like the king on e1 is doing terrible, but actually is doing great, the king there, because the rook is now threatening f7, and there are basically too many threats.
Yeah, rook takes d8, rook takes b7,
King g8,
wins a full piece. Yep.
king g8, I guess. Rook take d8, rook take d8. Rook take b7, rook d8 check, king e7, king e2, rook take b1, and king take e3.
See, or actually, you could also try it the fancy way. So let's play rook takes d8. Rook takes d8, and now bishop takes g6.
Yeah.
Bishop h7.
Because yeah, exactly. This is the threat, mating 2. So yeah, also this should be completely winning for...
Yeah, there is the time is also looking really great for white. Still a lot of time to think. So I'm sure that this is a win for Lude Horn. Yeah, from Namibia.
I agree. So let's try to find maybe the last board. No, I don't find it. Very hard to find it.
Yeah, I hope you solved all the puzzles that we just showed you, everyone. Yeah. This
Yes.
is a puzzle rush thing. Right.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry, but there is no board that I can find. So let's go back to the board 1. Let's see what is going on here.
What's going on here? Black is a piece up.
Yeah.
It's winning from black.
Yes, one piece is mostly enough, and also, I mean, the first stuff that I noticed is that black pieces are so active, and yeah, then if you also add the piece up, it means completely winning. So let's switch immediately to board 2. Like this, we try to...
Boy, this looks like a nice position for white, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. White this was the game where white missed this nice combination with knight g5 and rook f7. Yeah, but now black cannot take back because knight take e6 would be deadly.
So, this tactic will not be missed. I'm 100% sure that white will see that tactic at least. Yeah, and that would mean that I think Namibia is doing well. Or am I wrong? That's the sense that I've got, and that would mean for the rankings that Namibia is the current number 4 in the standings, and Uganda is the current number 5 in the standings. So yeah, Namibia would still then be in the race for place 3, one of the spots for the next division. Yeah, and Uganda will be not a contestant anymore.
Yeah.
So a lot riding on this match.
Yes, yes, yes. So currently here, Namibia is doing very well, and also in board one. So the first two boards looks really great for the Namibia players. Let's go to board 3. And actually also here it looks great for the Namibia player, as black is an exchange up in this endgame.
Yeah, not much to say about this. Black is an exchange up and a pawn, oh, actually 2 pawns, so it's over. Just queen d4. Okay, black still has to show some technique, I guess, because the white bishop is nicely protecting the a2 pawn. I guess white black plan it could simply be to push the queen side pawns, and it should be more or less over. Yeah, we are also closing into the time control, time scramble, time.
Scramble X?
I have the Dutch word in my head, but I cannot find the
Time
English.
travel.
Time
Scramble
trouble.
our Scrabble eggs.
Time trouble phase, or yeah, time scramble. Yeah, that would be awesome. Ah, and here we've got an interesting ending. What do you think, Alessia?
Well, this endgame should be a draw, but the right way to try to win with black is to put the rook on a1. Don't push the a2 pawn. Okay, depends. Play rook a1 now. Let's see.
Yeah.
Because if d3 might be that you push actually and you win immediately.
Yeah, the way to draw this ending is actually like white is doing, but with f4, what you want is to...
f4 is lost, no?
Yeah, now a2 and rook h1, a very famous win for black. Yeah, a2 is winning, f4 is a huge mistake.
Okay, maybe king f2, king g4 is still showing some resistance.
Yeah, that's... isn't it? Oh yeah, the king can still move to g2.
To g2.
King is still safe there. But yeah, what you usually want is to get the king as close to in front of the pawns actually. So it would have been a better idea to get a king on f4 instead of a pawn. And you want to push those pawns because what black wants is to get the king to the queen side, like indicated by arrows, and white then is going to attack the pawns with the rook, grabbing on the king side, and then what you need to do is you need to be as fast with those pawns on the king side as possible, and that is why pushing those pawns is actually a good idea for white. I think that Ivanchuk, as I learned, was one of the first to implement that strategy, I guess somewhere in the 90s or in the 2010s. I'm not exactly sure. Whoa, wait, but this is totally different. Here, black is rook h1.
Yeah, this is the very famous way to win this because we are threatening to promote and white cannot take because rook h2 would win the rook. But this didn't happen, so...
That is why the king...
Okay, but now yes.
Yeah, but now is, yeah. All right, well done. Yeah. g4, okay, it's over. Full rook up, and for the Uganda player here, so this should be over. Yeah, so even top players are struggling with that ending. Actually, it should be objectively a draw, but I recently saw, I think, a game between Taimur Rajabov, of course, a player in the recent candidates, and David Navara, the #1 player in Czechia. If I'm not mistaken, and Rajabov managed to win that ending with the black pieces. So an ending that is really hard to defend still.
Yes. It's hard. I mean, I studied that endgame at one of the stages with the national team, and we had at least one full day about to discuss about that ending because it's and there is not is clearly there is some way what we at the end discussed is that there was some way for black to try to win with bringing the king, but it's also risky on the other end because you could risk that the rook is not strong enough against the pawn on the king side. So it's a risky endgame.
Yeah, usually the black king is well in time to defend the white pawns from advancing, but indeed there has been games where white manages to win because black overpushed there. Indeed, yeah, yeah. Well, in any case, interesting endgame. Yeah, I hope you now all know how to defend it, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, but this ending is of course is completely winning, and this position is also completely winning.
Yeah, knight
Right.
takes e6, completely winning for white.
Knight takes e6, knight takes f8, wins a piece, and some even more. There's nothing the black could do about it, I think. Well, actually,
So
okay, but king b6 still saves the piece there. How do you win this? Okay, you probably just grab the g7 pawn. Yeah, just grab the g7 pawn. Or a3. a3 is the way to go. Yeah.
maybe this is not a game interesting because India is not playing in this division. So let's move to another game.
Aha, and we have another rook ending. Is this one clearer?
Well, here white is 2 pawns up in this endgame. So I also think that this is quite clear. I think just rook a6 and then a4, a5. Going for that.
Yeah, black is very fast with the e pawn though. And of course the b2 pawn is a big target here. So for example, rook e2 could still make some problems for white. I'm not sure that this is winning because the e pawn is way faster than the h pawn. And rook, oh, well,
Draw by agreement.
oh, okay. I guess white is in the driving seat, but there are some troubles with e4, e3, and king c4, king b3. This really could go wrong for white if white's not careful. It's especially because of the a4 pawn. The a4 pawn is nicely controlling all the squares on the queen side.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, if the pawn was anywhere else, then it would have been an easy win for white, I believe.
Okay, guys, I think that this match is going really great for the Namibia, because here we have a draw, here we have already a victory for... Oh, actually no, we have a victory for Uganda in this.
Oh.
So, but what I thought at least that the first 3 board were doing great. So let's shortly go back. Yes, here black is a piece up. This endgame is just winning. Second board here, white is doing extremely well against from Namibia. This is even more winning than the previous endgame.
Yeah,
And
not even a stalemate for it there. Yeah, but okay.
oh,
This looks.
what happened here?
What is this? Which game was this? This was board 3, I think.
Yes, I remember an exchange up here, and it seems like mating few.
This is board.
Wait, did black blunder a queen or what?
What the hell? Oh, oh
No!
my God. Jesus Christ.
No.
Oh boy, oh boy. Well, what a way to make things exciting. You know, that's a classy move from black. Like, okay, I'll give you one more chance, one opportunity. Mom spaghetti. She's nervous and stuff like that. Okay, so f4, queen takes f4, g takes f4, king takes f4. Looks like a draw, doesn't it? I think black can always put the king on b4. Oh, but after a5. No, this should still be a draw. Yeah, it should still be a draw. King e3. Or king e5. Just keep the king towards the f4 square, and white does not have any chance anymore, I believe. Well, actually, can you maybe go for a Zugzwang? Like, for example, now bishop d3. And then the king comes to f4. Yeah. What about bishop d3 instead of bishop d7? Would that have been maybe a way to play for a win?
That's a good question. That's true. Let's try to see that.
Yeah. So bishop d3. Yeah, bishop
King
d6.
d6.
Yeah, king d6, and then king e5 again. Actually, you should also be careful of a b5 move there. Here, in this position, b5, king c5, a takes b5, king c5, and then just start rolling with the pawns. Actually,
Yeah,
quite
that's
hard to
true.
stop. So that is why I like bishop d3 better than bishop c6. Yeah, and what to do if the bishop takes f5?
King
I guess
b4.
actually
Ah.
after bishop takes f5, you still play b5, and it should still be
Hmm.
a draw.
Yeah, that's true. But let's say after king e3, as you said, king f4, maybe still, you still need time to do something like.
Now bishop takes f b5, so you need to play b5 when the bishop is not eyeing the b5 square.
Yeah, so maybe king d5.
Yeah,
And if king here, I guess you might push the pawn, no?
bishop needs to protect the g2 square, and then you play b5. Yeah,
Yeah, okay, let's see how it's going. Let's see if we have. Should be still a draw, as we said, as we mentioned. Okay, and now should be a draw because b5 will be on board. And bishop e2 cannot be played as. Yeah, e2 would win.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Did
Interesting endgame though, but it's simple for black. Just push the b5 pawn, get your king there, and push the a pawn to make a draw. Easy. Yeah. Okay. So it should be a draw. So, but that's so unfortunate, of course, losing the queen with f4. You hate to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, black was lucky not to lose because
Yeah.
mostly if you lose a queen for a pawn and you still don't lose, that's incredible.
Yeah. It's amazing. That's how great Black's position was. But she must be kicking herself, of course.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, I see chances still for black here. Okay, no, not really. The king is too near.
yeah, the king is too near. The bishop is too strong. Should be a very easy way to draw. No, still, this could go wrong for white. Yeah, now b4, a4, a4, I suppose.
And it went wrong.
A4 looks winning actually. Yeah, it's winning now.
Maybe, yeah, the only way was bishop c6 and then bishop a4.
Yeah. What you want as white is to grab the b pawn and then put your king on a1, and then it's an easy draw. Now it's
Incredible.
this is incredible. She lost the full queen. She was a full queen up. Then she lost the queen, and then she was fighting for a draw. And then in this pawn ending, white did not manage to play correctly, and still she was winning. That is yeah, that's a scenario you don't see very often. Losing a full queen and still winning. Wow.
That's hilarious. All right, and let's update about the results here. The player from Namibia won, and also here in second board. So first and second board, then we have draw, and this should be a victory for the player for Namibia. So it means that Namibia is fighting for the third place. Instead, Uganda should be out.
Yeah, I think so. Of course, after all the games are done, we are going to update you with the current standings and the current results. And also, of course, we are also going to check what happened in the last round of the A pool. Not everything was decided yet, but we are going to show you the final standings there as well. Of course. So, yeah. But of course, there are still some games playing. Is this maybe the only game left?
Now there is one more game left, and is this one. It's actually an interesting endgame. Well, should be winning for black as two pawns are two pawns. But yeah, still.
There are still some chances, but okay.
Okay, king f5, rook b3, g4. Seems
Yeah,
very good.
seems just over, but we've seen a lot of weird stuff going on.
Okay,
This is
now this makes stuff harder because yeah, the Rook-Kann game is still winning, but I
If,
liked.
I don't know about knight e5 though, because after king g4, I've seen an endgame like this. It's really hard to push those pawns now. Yeah, just keep checking. Just keep checking. It's really hard to push those pawns. No, this is not going well. Maybe this is now within drawing margin. Because if the rook moves, then g5 falls, and if the king goes to f6, you just keep checking. It's
What about rook e3
a king takes g5,
and f6, f3,
then rook a1,
f2?
rook f1.
Yeah, and this just.
It's this is a draw. This is a draw. There's no way for black
Maybe
to.
to try to bring the king to f2?
Yeah, but the king is very, very close on the g file. So actually, I don't like what white's doing. I think white should just keep the rook on the 6th rank so that black cannot move. Yeah, yeah, just keep the rook on the 6th rank. Now after rook a7, king b6, the king can move, like you said, maybe towards the f2 square with king a5. King Gesundheit, bless you. Just king c5, king d4. Now it's a chance. Now black has a good chance again. Yeah, the problem was that the king could not participate. Rook d5.
Rook d5 and then king d4.
Yeah, yeah. Now it's not so clear again. Maybe white should play king f3 right now. Yes, and then keep checking the king. No, now it's winning again for black, I believe.
Yeah.
Rook d3. Rook d3.
Rook d3 and then then should be
running with the pawn. The king is also not in the right square. You sometimes in the f pawn endgame in the rooks is a draw, but because the king is not in the right place, it's too far behind the pawn. It should be winning for black. Yeah, rook d2.
Actually, I like this king e2 because after rook e2 this is even more clear because just now f3, f2 and
f3 is winning. Yeah, that rook ending is winning. Yeah. Wow. That was crazy. That was an interesting rook ending. Yeah. Okay, a repetition of moves. They are closing in on the time scramble phase. Let's see if black can manage. Or mouse slip. You never know.
Why not f3? We could have. Oh my god! Come on.
Push.
Okay, first rook d3 and then push. Yeah.
Yeah, push.
No, come on.
Now king f. No, wait. King not.
Now
king.
is a draw. Will be a
Yeah.
draw for repetition.
Repetition of moves.
Okay, maybe
Oh.
king e1 is the last chance. King e1 and then rook d1. No, but might be a draw.
I think this might. Oh no. Oh boy. That hurts. So what was this a decisive result? Hong Kong versus Thailand. That doesn't really matter anymore. Those were the two top teams in Pool A, but they both already qualified. So yeah. But okay, it was a winning end game for black. Well, actually, it was a draw in end game. But then black managed to get the king to a good square, and then yeah, it was over.
Yes, exactly. Okay, here we are going to see the brilliant technique of black.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
King X. Queen b3, mate in 2. Come on. Queen b5, perfect. Queen b7. Yay, there you go.
GG.
There you go. GG.
All the games are over.
This was a win for Namibia. Yeah, so I think it's safe to say. Do we have already maybe the final results or maybe some results that we can share?
I guess we do have. So let's go here.
It seems that all matches were decided already.
Yes. So I think the results we have nearly all the results. Namibia won 3.5 to 2.5. Malta 4-2. Pakistan 4.5, 1.5 against Rwanda. Mozambique won 5-1 against Kuwait, and Syria 4.5 to 1.5 against Cyprus. So it's time to show the scoreboard of Pool B, where you see that Syria, Mozambique, and Malta are still there leading. The only as we said, Namibia seems like the only team that can have the possibility to try to grab that third place.
Yeah, Namibia needs to. Okay, Syria and Mozambique are more or less already. Well, they still have a chance to, if they perform, if they lose the next two matches, to not qualify for the next division. So yeah, Namibia still has a chance. The other teams are unfortunately out of the race.
Yes. And I guess it's time to show let's show also the result of the Pool A, just to see how it ended. Okay, Myanmar won 4-1 against Kenya, but Chinese Taipei won 6-0 against 6-0 against Maldives. And the big match for the first place between Hong Kong and Thailand was okay, now I'm curious. I want to see who did that point from Thailand. Is the junior boy that kept his 100% score, or did he lose against Hong Kong? Maybe Roland can help us.
I will try to find that result. Let me give you an update. It's actually, Prin off board 5 still has a 100% score. He won also the last game for Thailand. And actually, the last point that we still need to show was actually a draw. So that means that the final results is 4.5, 1.5 for Hong Kong. So they are the winners of Pool A. But yeah, Prin 100% score. Great job from the board 5 player from Thailand.
Yes, so Pool A is really over. We will mention one more time the three teams that are going to advance to next division: Hong Kong, Thailand, and Chinese Taipei. Big congratulations to Hong Kong for winning this pool, but also for Thailand and Chinese Taipei to qualify and advance to next division.
Yeah, so one last mention about Pool B, because Namibia and Malta, as you can see, are still in the race for the top 3 spot, and they actually have to play still against each other. So that will be exciting to watch in the upcoming rounds, of course. Yeah, I think we have...
Yes, and I think we have such an important match now, because Syria is playing against Namibia. That this would mean that if Syria were to beat Namibia, the chances for them to qualify might be very small. So
Syria doing extremely well in this pool, so beating Syria is the way to go, of course, for Namibia. But yeah, they're doing so well that it's going to be very, very hard. So yeah, we'll be going on a break, and this will be actually a bigger break than usual. We'll be gone for 1 hour. We commentators have to stretch our legs, grab some food at some point. So yeah, we will be back in 1 hour, and then we'll give you an update of what will happen in the last 2 rounds, of course, of Pool B. And yeah, so stay tuned. I mean, you guys also need to stretch your legs, of course, and grab some food, and yeah, maybe go for a walk. Think about all the good and nice positions that you've seen so far in this broadcast. So yeah, we'll be back in 1 hour, and we'll see you soon, of course.